Hi guys, today I'm going to go ahead and walk you through lesson 13 homework first, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at lesson 14 homework. Remember, you have a homework helper on page 137. That's 137. It says lesson 13 homework helper, and it walks you through how to use the number line to round. So don't forget that. It continues on page 138, and gives you more information about rounding. But we're going to get started on page 139. The first thing you're going to do, pause the video if you need to and get to page 139, and then get your name up there. And today's date. Let's see, if you are a B group, you're doing this on 2-11-21. And if you're an A group, you're doing this on 2-12-21. All right. Don't forget our little poem too. If it's 5 or more, right? 5 plus, we're going to raise the score. If it's 4 or less, right, we're gonna let it rest. So we're rounding up if it's 5 or more, we're rounding down, letting it rest if it's 4 or less. The instructions tell us to round to the nearest 10. Use the number line to model your thinking. So if we look at the first one, 43, the first thing that they wanted us to do is figure out which two tens 43 is in between. And they've done that for us. It's not between 10 and 20. It's not between 50 and 60. It's between 40 and 50. And they found the midpoint at 45. So that's what you'll have to label first, is the 10 that it's below, the 10 that it's above, the 10 that's above it, and then the midpoint. 43. Then they marked 43, and they found it right here. 43, is it closer to 40 or is it closer to 50? If you said it's closer to 40, you are right. Let's check it with our rule. Let's look at that ones place, right? In the ones place, there's a 3. Is it 5 or more? No, 3 is less than 5. It's 4 or less, so we're going to let it rest and round down. All right, I'm going to do part D with you, and then you're going to do the rest on your own. 173. The tens place is here. Okay, so that's the number that we're rounding. We're using the 3 though to round. 173. Which two tens is it in between? Not hundreds. We're not going to do 100 and 200 because we're rounding to the nearest 10. So if we just look at 73, which two tens is that between? If you said 70 and 80, you're right. But remember, it's 173. So we have to say 170, 180. What's the halfway point? 175. Good. 171, 172, 173. Is it closer to 180 or 170? Great. If you said 170, you are right. See the 3 in the ones place? It is 4 or less, so we're going to let it rest. All right, go ahead and complete B, C, E, and F on your own. B and C are already in the tens. E and F are in the hundreds, but you're still only rounding to the tens. All right, pause your video. You can go ahead and complete those. If you want to take a look at the bonus problems, I'll read those aloud to you as well. Round the weight of each item to the nearest 10. We're only rounding to 10 in lesson 13. Draw number lines to model your thinking. A cereal bar weighs 45 grams. You're going to round it to the nearest 10 using your number line first. You're going to mark the two tens that it's in between. and the halfway point. You're rounding here. Make sure you label it with grams. You'll do the same thing for the loaf of bread. It's at 673 grams. Make sure you only round to the nearest 10, not the nearest 100. Number 3. Pause if you want to complete number 2. Number 3. The garden club plants rows of carrots in the garden. 1 seed packet weighs 28 grams. Round the total weight of 2 seed packets to the nearest 10 grams. 1 seed packet weighs 28 grams. You have to find out how much 2 seed packets weigh and then round to the nearest 10 gram. Make sure you still model your thinking on the number line. All right, go ahead, get to work.